Anyways, so I chose the Vanish Block, or Vanish Ball for a particular reason. Also, as a note, whenever you actually put a level online, you can actually change the description. In fact, I think you can do that any time when you save a level, when I think about it. Now, does this actually... Oh man! I think that's the only way you can actually destroy a character. I know the game's lagging a ton. Look at that. Boom. I Gorilla. It was more my intention to actually make Gorilla kinda... not quite disappear, but maybe a bit more like physically... like create physical challenges. Oh well. Anyways. I'd imagine this can't destroy push blocks. This can't actually physically, yeah, can it? And then these guys, you can see will happen. This is basically like those, what was it, that particular type of block I saw earlier. Not vanish. Made everything around it vanish. Oh, here's the cool thing about this. Oh, yeah, these guys are gonna fight each other. Yes, they walk up to each other. Boom. And then any other two characters that, or any two characters that are attacking each other, they'll actually run away from each other and take cover. But if they're both being aggressive simultaneously, which doesn't seem to be happening right now. There you go. Then one might actually get hit. Now here's the fun thing about this particular ball. Does it not work here? Yeah, there we go. You actually destroy the outside environment with it. I don't know why this is really a thing you can do, but in case you want to make an area as barren as possible, you can actually destroy most of the surrounding area with these. I don't know why they implemented this. It also lets you see how certain things are like stored separately as separate objects. Like these edges are separated, for example. It's an odd thing to do. And then some things just kind of get stuck floating in an awkward fashion because of it. Oh man. Look at that. And destroy those things up there? No, it goes right through. It's an odd thing to be able to do. An entertaining thing that has its novelty wear off very quickly, actually. But it's interesting for a moment, at least. Right, more toys. Bombs, and we've seen these do before. This is what nukes do to the world. Well, but Grilda is fine, though. Now she is not. Where has Geralda gone? The world may never know. Oh yeah, I forgot, you can actually pause by pressing up on the D-pad for some reason. Goodbye. Doesn't manage to destroy a whole block, though. For some reason. Anyways, paint bomb. Oh yeah, well, I don't think I've ever used those either. You just get... yeah, paint bombs with certain colors. I believe you get multiple choices of, which... I believe you set in the rules which colors you get, or something like that. Anyways, this thing just explodes as it hits something. As you probably expect. Can you make it explode prematurely? No, actually, it only explodes on impact. And I'll change the color of any wood blocks around it, as you might expect. Well, no, they never use any of those in any levels. Laser, of course. The cans are just a variety of colors. So not as many toys as one might expect, actually. But the thing is, the first game, yeah, you had a lot of toys, but their functions didn't really vary much. They have a lot less redundancy in this particular game. Even if less variation within that, which is kind of sad. You don't get the 6-shooter anymore, though. Which, of course, was kind of a redundant version of the laser. Just like the gun was. And just like the ghost laser was, in particular. Got it. How are you still floating like this, man? Stop it. Okay. Anyways, I think that's about all there is to do here. It's actually kind of surprising how little mileage, how little time we got to spend playing around with stuff here, because a lot we've just already seen. You've seen most of these toys already. This game doesn't have as many unlockable toys that you don't use in the main game, for better or worse. So if I save, I believe then I get to say it's whatever, and then I don't know if you give a description when you save it or when you put it online. In any case, there's not really much more to do with that. So the thing is, the cool stuff would come from the online levels. So now I'm going to talk about, I'm just going to be talking about this for now, but I'm going to point to the description where, for this video, I hopefully have a number of videos linked that showcase various things that other people have done in this game, showing what potential a game editor actually has. I'm going to describe some of my fonder memories of the downloadable levels for things that unfortunately weren't preserved. But what I liked so much about the online stuff was the people, of course, got a lot really creative. I explained how, in some cases, you'd get people doing things like hacking stuff and actually introducing new things into the game, like a cow spawner for whatever purpose, or showing various quirks of the game engine, as well as making things like, oh man, I can't remember what it's called, Rush Hour, I think, a little board game, for example, that I'd always beat by just forcing the blocks to physically pass through each other, which was a great way of cheating. As well as those magnet blocks, as I mentioned. But the cool thing was you'd see a lot of ingenuity in really interesting ways. Sure, you'd have like functional machines, for example, where you'd actually have wires that were made of bomb blocks, for example, things like that, or other such things, or functional vending machines with multiple options to choose from and requiring a coin to be entered and things like that. Giant things, but still functional and cool things at that. But you'd also find things like, one of my favorite levels was this little first-person adventure where what you were actually doing was you were actually going in some level, I'm guessing it was the Villain's Lab or Villain's Lair, don't know which. And what it actually was, when you first entered it, was you would start here, I believe, right here, and you would simply enter into what looked like nothing more than this big, giant fortress comprised of nothing but immobile blocks. Where are mobile blocks? Mobile block. Some blocks look different depending on which level you're in. The mobile blocks are one good example. Whole blocks are another good example. They actually have different textures depending on which area you're in. Yeah, here for example. Very different from what it looked like. These are metal looking instead of wood looking like they were in the previous area, the explore area. But you would see this, and you would just walk in from the front. Oh man, I couldn't make it so wide. That's odd. I was not aware of that. So one might wonder the purpose of such a thing. Well, the idea was, as I mentioned, it was this little first-person adventure of sorts. And it wasn't just a matter of walking in and seeing what's going on, but it was also something where you had a mission. It wasn't a level with actual rules or anything like that. I believe all you had was a laser, in fact. Maybe it was a laser, I don't quite recall what tool it was. Something to that effect. This is actually too long. Yeah. But you would walk on in, and you would just see a bunch of rooms, not actually like in a hallway, but you'd have rooms you progress through linearly. And the idea was that to get from one room to the next, what you had to do was you had to solve a puzzle in each room. Come on. So I'd see this room here, for example. There would be a sliding door blocking my way from into the next area, right here. Can I please actually give us a ceiling? Here we go. And in this area, so you'd have a door of some sort, and it would actually be a sliding door with some kind of mechanism. It'd be attached to something in some way, but it wouldn't open until you actually solve some kind of puzzle in here in some way. And I believe you do that with a laser. So you'd walk on in, and you'd do that in some way. And the idea was that you were basically in some kind of supervillain's lair, and you had stuff to do. You didn't have any baddies to defeat because they couldn't actually do anything. But the idea was you actually had to go on through and you'd progress in some capacity every so often. And at the end was, I believe, towards the top of the villain's lair, the big fortress, was actually the hostage that the villain was keeping. And the idea was, this hostage was actually being kept in some dangerous space. Something bad was going on, I don't quite recall what specifically. They were being held in some capacity over something that looked very dangerous. I believe it was actually virus block to make it look like lava. That was a really common trick people used. You just had a little pool of it. But they were being held over in a cage or something to that effect. You have, I don't know if it was some kind of little platform or what, but there was something going on up here that a character was sitting on. Go up. Let's just say for the sake of this one particular level, that was for the sake of visibility, I guess. That was a glass block. A fragile block, I guess, but you can see through those reasonably well. We had our dainty Lady Moo on top of this, or whatever else it was. And eventually, I realized this thing isn't actually going to stay up in any way. But, how about we can do this? See, this is just a whole block. And eventually, a variety of things would happen over time. It turned out, on the roof, there was actually a collection of... I still don't know where you can actually find any of these things to actually place. But you'd find a collection of spheres, and I think they were actually virus spheres, and and they would be rolling very slowly from one end to the other, and every so often you hear one reach the end and make the virus block noise, and then that would stuff another one out and also fall down along here. And eventually, you had about like 4 or 5 minutes, I think, all in all, before the final one got activated. And that was the point where you lost, where you had run out of time to save this fair old lady from falling into the lava or whatever else it was, and her block would fall. So you'd end up having whatever happened, whatever it was, where you had this whole block. Presumably a whole block, if that was how it worked at least. In fact, let's make this a different colored whole block so this works properly. And then once that did finally blow up, you can imagine what would happen. Just gotta make sure it gets destroyed in this case. See, I have a chemical block here. Everything else is bombs. No, not everything. Just get the things. And just for testing purposes, we're gonna stick this here. So you walk on in, you try to solve the puzzles in whatever capacity. You want to get in. But if you were too slow, and you hadn't managed to solve the puzzles quickly enough, what would end up happening was the blocks would go off and get destroyed in whatever capacity. And now, oh no, she's actually fallen in the lava. And you would find that you had actually not managed to complete the level quickly enough to win it, and you had ultimately failed in a great capacity. But it seemed like such a creative application of everything to me. The game didn't even use the game's proper scoring system. You never got a game over screen or anything like that. You never got a U1 screen or anything like that. It just had its own ending and made its own little make-believe system with its own little suspension of disbelief and everything. It had some really clever puzzles, some really cool mechanisms with an actual sliding door. Once you'd actually hit a button, I'm not going to try to build anything right here because it'll take too much time. But for example, if you would hit a button, or something more complex than that, since it would be a puzzle, it would actually make a sliding door open, and you can go into here, have another room, and there usually be smaller rooms in these. And then once you're done with that, you would actually go up. Oh, come on, what's the camera doing? There we go. You'd actually have another floor to go through. I think the camera was a little bit less dumb than this. I don't know if there's something I'm missing that lets you move the camera vertically or not. I've been having some trouble with that. Oh, minus and plus also happen to... Here we go, 1 and 2. That's what it was. Those are how you move up and down. I needed that. So you can actually move up and down around. And have your nice little first-person adventure. With some fancy machinery and all that. It sounds simple, but it was oddly endearing. I mean, part of it was just playing through with the innocence of childhood and spending hours playing random online things and getting annoyed by my Wi-Fi being kind of crappy where my Wii was, but it was an oddly endearing thing and fun thing to do, and it's sometimes something kind of sad just isn't really possible to find anymore, anywhere. Because, as many of you know, of course, the Wii online function was disabled a long while back. But we'll always be able to have some fun in at least remembering, and sometimes on YouTube actually getting to see firsthand from little time capsules that are some videos. We'll get to see those little tidbits of the past, games like this one, that unfortunately we don't quite have anymore. You can see how the smallest mechanisms got exploited into creating very interesting, fun mechanics of various sorts. In any case, having reminisced over that, I think that's really all I can do. So as I mentioned before, I believe, there should be a couple videos, maybe not a lot, maybe not the most impressive or interesting stuff, but it's really all I could find, I think. I'll have to use some videos in the description for this that I just wanted to show off for anybody who wanted to see the sorts of things people are making in this game, at least some of the most basic of it. Because some people got really interesting stuff that I don't think ever got online, in the sense of being on YouTube. But that having been done, that's really all I can offer myself for this game. I was never any particular creative guru in this game. I simply had ideas of things that would be kind of cool and never really managed to implement them. I was really the type to look up to people that actually made the cool stuff. I once tried to make the vending machine, as I mentioned, and I don't think I ever got to fully function. I couldn't get the space to work out. Anyways, though, sad I'm being done. That'll be that for Boom Blox Splash Party, and by extension, the Boom Blox series as a whole, all 2 games of it. I love this game so much more than the first one. I was oddly entertained by the first game, but this one, especially with its online and how much I extend everything, this is the game that got burned to my memory as something that I really thought was fun. I was really looking forward to playing this game and the previous one. Every night I actually played it, and it's been a long time since I've had a playthrough like that. And that's largely because I've just kind of run out of games I've played before. on this channel. At least games I like happily played through the entirety of. Because I had just kind of postponed it for a while because they were puzzle games, and that's not usually the best sort of Let's Play stuff, but at this point I've kind of dropped the standards of what would and won't be good Let's Play material, because I think they're experiences to be shown in any case, and there's always something fun to be had, and I find a lot of fun in it, and it seems like as a rule, other people also have fun with things when I have fun with them. But that means that this little sheep, unfortunately, is going to have to say goodbye to us. Look at, wave dude, goodbye, because that's all there is to be seen in the Blox series. So, I'll see you guys in the next one, whatever it is, whatever game, whatever time, whatever it may be. I'll always be there to reminisce. But, I don't know, it feels like there's something I should be closing this out on other than just saying goodbye to the game, because it feels like there's more to it than that. Mostly because it feels like I didn't show everything because the online, but you guys will get what little you can of that. Hopefully the little demo of the magnet blocks too, because those are cool. In any case, I'll look for more games like this when I play, I guess. You know, if I'm kind of out of them, but this channel does great things for me, getting to look over things from the past and re-examine them and just have fun with them again, be nostalgic, and appreciate things like this that I mostly had forgotten. I'd pretty much entirely forgotten this game, actually, and its predecessor, or at least what it was like to play them. But then I played them, and I'm happy to have played them. And other people can enjoy the things they forgot as well. Things they don't play anymore by watching other people play them. I like being vicarious. Or at least when people do things vicariously through me. Apparently. That's why I'm here. I feel a little bit more enclosed in the sense of having closure. I'll try to warp some words to make that work. So, I can now say with a little bit more confidence, thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time in whatever series it may be. Probably not a Wii game. I'll try not to do these for a while because it's annoying dealing with remotes. But whatever game I end up playing next, I'll try and make it fun. Bye guys! See you wherever.